The story I'm reading is Can't Win. It's a short story, a short story. Can't Win. My agent calls and says, oh, by the way, this story started as an allegorical dream and ended up as an allegorical story. Okay, my agent calls and says, meet me at the Triad Perry Publishing Company right away. I say, what's up? And she says, it's very important. Just be there as soon as you can. I'm already on my way. And she hangs up. I think, oh God, it can't be anything but good news. The annual Triad Perry $3,000 prize and publication of the manuscript in the fall. I leave the apartment, take a cab to the publishing house, and walk into the reception room. Quite a few people are sitting on couches and chairs there, and the receptionist is behind a desk, a dog sleeping on the floor near her feet. My agent comes out of an office with a man. She says, this is the managing editor, Mr. Whithead. And to him, you tell him, not me. I say, it's bad news, isn't it? And she says, depends how you look at it. Well, take it, but I'm afraid it is. He says, once more, you've been chosen as one of the runners-up in our annual short fiction award, and hands me my manuscript. If this will be any consolation to you, there were again more than 400 applicants for the award. So take pride in knowing that for the 4th year in a row, you were considered good enough to be one of the 5 finalists, a remarkable achievement, or at least record, I think. I shout, God damn it, and slam the manuscript on the receptionist's desk and keep slamming it and shouting, God damn it, God damn it. What the hell stopped you from giving me the prize this year? Because who'd you give it to? And who'd you give it to last year and the years before that? Do you remember? Does anyone here remember? What are some of the names of their books then? Why'd I even have to be dragged down here when you could have just used your brains for a change and mailed me the news? And I throw the manuscript across the room, its pages spilling over most of the people sitting on the couches and chairs. Some of them leap up and snap at the pages before they land on the floor. Others grab the pages off the floor and read them, saying, hey, this is pretty good. You mean pretty damn awful. It's stupid, funny, makes no sense. What the heck's this passage supposed to mean? He's got to be kidding himself. No, he should have won. You mean never have entered? Christ, if he had taken the first prize and you announced it, your whole company would have been disgraced and laughed out of the publishing business and maybe even financially ruined. Why don't you look at my manuscript for next year's contest if you can't publish it sooner? And several of them give Whithead their manuscripts. He piles the manuscripts on the desk and says to me, listen, don't get so excited. If this will be any consolation to you, and I should have told you this before I broke the other news to you, you did take first prize in the Scarf Design Award this year, which entitles you to a $30 check and a mention in the Scarf Designer's News. He gives me the check and holds up a 6-foot scarf for everyone to see. It's all stripes, but bright stripes of 6 different colors and with different colored fringes at the ends of it. Not a bad design, but not what I had in mind for a first prize today. I take the scarf, stick the check between my teeth and rip it in two, and spit the other pieces out, and grab a bud vase off the desk and shout, idiots! This scarf and check aren't what I came down here for either, and throw the vase to the floor. It smashes, pieces going everywhere, one into the dog's rear leg. It yelps, jumps, and limps around the room as it cries. The receptionist runs over to me and says, before, I could have understood your outburst and rage, but injuring that defenseless dog has gone too far, and she shoves me with both hands, and I fall over a chair to the floor. She edges back, shouting, don't kick me, don't beat me, get him away from me. The dog's still limping around the room and crying. That'll be enough of that, Whithead says to me, and to the others, what about this dog, whose is it? Not mine, my agent says, leaving. Not mine either, some of the others say. Of course, he says, not yours, his, hers, the receptionist, or anyone's. Then what was it doing here in the first place? And what are you going to do about it now, looking at me? Okay, I say. I'm the one responsible for the broken glass, so I'll look after him, even if he isn't my dog. I put the scarf around my neck, pick up the dog, and carry him out of the room. Take the elevator down and look on the building's register for a vet. There is none, so I go outside on 5th Avenue and stop one of the hundreds of people on the sidewalk and ask if she knows where I can find a vet around here. For your dog? And I say, yes, for this dog, though he isn't mine. And she says, go east on 53rd, then second building on your left after you pass the Pocket Park. The vet's office is on the first floor of a brownstone. I go in, set the dog down, and say to the nurse, "He has a sliver of glass in his rear right leg. Could you have the doctor remove it? I'm not the owner, but I'll take care of the cost." "That'll be $60, and I give it. And she says, "We're a little crowded in here, so can you wait outside?" I look around and see all the seats are taken by people with pets on their laps and in carriers, and one guy with a parrot on his shoulder, and I go outside. The nurse opens the front door an hour later, and the dog comes out with a bandage around his neck. He seems to be walking all right. "Good, you're much better," I say. I tie the scarf around his neck as a leash, walk him back to the publishing house, take the scarf off, and leave him with the receptionist. She doesn't look up, continues typing. The dog falls asleep beside her on the floor. I go home. My mother and sister are there, and I tell them what happened to me today. The agent's call, the publishing house, my letdown, and how mad I got, and the dog and Bud vase and consolation prize, and I hold up the scarf. "That's my scarf," my sister says. "The one I designed and knitted myself. I've been looking all over for it. How come you took credit for it when I should have been the one who entered the contest and won?" "What are you talking about?" I say. "I never entered this scarf in any contest." But she grabs it from me and calls the publishing house and says, "Whithead, give me that chief man Whithead." When he gets on the phone, she says, "Look, my brother before is a cheat, an out-and-out lying fraud. He didn't design that first prize scarf or even knit it. I did, and I'm coming right down there to get all the publicity I can get out of winning that contest, and also the $30 check. Some people might think they can't use the money, but baby, I sure can." That's it. Thank you.